Forbidden Door. We got Forbidden Door here. It is now finished. It's now 1 something in the morning. Oh, 1 something in the morning. Not counting the tick. I did Slammiversary. If anyone has seen my channel already, I've done my Slammiversary review. I watched from 4 until 7. Then I did my review, and as quickly as I looked the video over, edited the video, put in some images, rendered it, and uploaded it because it takes time to upload, it was already past 8 something when Forbidden Door started. So I did not see the kickoff. I didn't see the first match. I do believe that who was in there? I know the Bucks were involved. I know that Mystico and I don't think it was El Generico. I could be wrong. Or Mascaletta. I believe that's the ones that were doing the match with the Bucks. I'm not sure. It might have been an extra tag team in there, but I think it was only 2. Don't know who won. So I'm not going to comment on it. But I generally saw all of the other matches. Now the match that I did see, but not in its entirety, I saw half of it. That was Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kenny Omega. Now, let's make this very clear. Did I believe Zack was going to win? No. Zack was not meant to win that, and I knew Zack was not meant to win it. It was just for show. This is the thing that I don't like. Dream matches like this, they're not bad, but at the end, sometimes you need more. You need more than just a dream match. You need a continuation. Zack Sabre Jr. has history with Kenny. Kenny has history with Zack. And I kind of wish that Zack would spend more time in AEW, but he's part of New Japan. So for me, I would rather see a feud with Zack and Kenny than just see a dream match from Zack and Kenny. That's me. I'm sorry. That's just how I am. And it just feels like it needs more than just a dream match. It needs an actual feud. In the end, Kenny won. Was it a good match? Yeah, it wasn't a bad match. But it felt like it needed to be a feud more than it needed to be a dream match, guys. I'm sorry. I know you're going to say, dude, this is Forbidden Door. It's a dream match show. I know. But how many times have we seen Zack Sabre Jr.? And I'm sure more than a few of you have said, why are you not with AEW at this point? You've done work with AEW. You've done work with the people there. You should already be in AEW. You should. And there should be a feud with you and someone in AEW. And that's just the way it feels. Moving on. Next match. The match that I really was not interested in, which became bloody, was not a bad match. I did enjoy it. But it became heavy bloodied, and the majority of the show had blood in it. If you guys are squeamish for blood, you have a problem with this show, because if you've not seen it, there's going to be a lot of blood in it. And that was a major issue for me. Not because I'm scared of blood, not because I get tired of blood, but because it doesn't feel special anymore. Let me explain. When you have a match where blood is inserted into it, it means that this is supposed to be important. Matches didn't always have blood every single time. It was meant to be a very special gimmick that is rare. And how many matches did we have blood? This was one of them. And I felt, oh no, they're going to do a whole bunch of blood throughout this entire show. And they did. And it just brought the show down. I'm not saying that it was a bad show. I'm not. This is one of the gripes I have with AEW. They do too much blood. They don't make it feel special. Not because I'm squeamish. Not because I think it needs to be PG. It's not special anymore. So that's the problem. So I had to evaluate this match along with every other match that had blood in it and try to take the blood out. Just remove the blood completely from the match. What did we get with the Continental match? We got Well, Bandito getting his mask ripped and seeing most of his face. That was the gimmick. That his mask is now exposed and he has to continue this match and prove that he can hang with a Death Rider. That was the entire premise of this match. It wasn't that the blood was supposed to be important. The blood now became an hindrance. It had to remove from that, which I did, and I tried to evaluate this match for what it was. It was to show that Bandito can go up against a Death Rider and can show that he can hang with them even when he had a disadvantage and even when he had his mask ripped, where normally they don't like that. In the end, he lost, of course. Mox won, of course. And in this situation, Mox shook his hand, which was okay. But we just keep getting the same type of match from Jon Moxley. He comes, he has a match, and sooner or later it gets bloody. He wins, he's gone. And I'm getting tired of it. Honestly, no, I'm not getting tired. I am tired of it. He should have already left AEW for a couple of months, took a break, be with his wife, be with his daughter, came back, and then they try something different. They're not doing it. He's just consistent, and he's overexposed, and it sucks. Moving on. Now we get something that pissed me off. Seto Uyo versus Pac for the IWGP Global Championship. Now understand it's only been around for about 10 or so years. It's the new title. It's only been around for about a decade. And the thing here is, for me, as a Pac fan, my boy Pac has the ability to talk, has the ability to wrestle, has everything you need, and they do nothing with him. And he goes up against someone that is a current champion who used to be a Death Rider, from what I understand, and he was expelled by Moxley himself. And I'm like, when he was expelled, now he became a global champion, and now Pac is getting his title. I didn't expect him to lose here. Why would he lose? Unless he's going to be working with AEW and then join the Death Riders, which he didn't. This just felt like they just used Pac for a really great match, which it was a great match. Pac usually has always great matches. But the problem here, I want Pac to have more. And he doesn't get it. And it sucks. It just pisses me off that someone who has all the abilities that can be a really good champion is not. And it sucks. Next, we get the Women's Championship. Tekla versus Starlight Kid. I'm going to be honest here. This was the weakest match here. It was. This was the weakest match. And I'm like, it's not because of Tekla. It felt more like Starlight Girl was sloppy. I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, this is the first time I've seen her wrestle. But she is sloppy. This match was not a good match. She couldn't fully do all her moves. And it was like, either she couldn't do all the moves, or she was just being totally sloppy about the moves. And Tekla had to do a lot of heavy lifting in this match, which I'm actually surprised. The girl's been wrestling for 10 years. Started when she was 14. And she's 24 years old. She should be a professional. She's supposed to be the best that Stardom has. And at least 1/3 of the match, she couldn't do most of her moves. Now later she got much better. But the very beginning, almost into the middle, she was sloppy. And I'm like, really? Now, I didn't expect that. I expected her to be pretty polished. Like Riho, or Emi Sakura, or Hida Kushida. I thought she would do better than that. And she just felt very sloppy at first. I don't know if because maybe she got jet lag, or maybe she was just sloppy. I don't know. And she just needs to warm up. I can't tell you. In the end, Tekla won. And then she beat up on the president of Stardom again, using the mask of, and this is the thing that made it even worse for me. Supposedly, Starlight Girl takes a lot of inspiration from Lucha Libre, from pretty much Lucha Thunder Liger, in that style of wrestling. And seeing that she was not doing that well, that one surprised me. I mean, you can't be perfect all the time. You can't. But here, I was surprised. And Tekna basically spit into the mask and then start hitting the president with it. So that means maybe there'll be something more she's going to be doing with Stardom, hopefully. But just me, moving on. Let's get to the fourth match. CNC versus the Dogs. I did not care about this match. I'm going to be honest. I didn't care. I knew they were going to win. I knew Cage and Cope were going to win. I knew. Of course I knew. It's just counting on, is there going to be any surprises? And there was. Bang Bang Gang came out near the end of the match, which wasn't a bad match. I'm not saying the match was bad. It was okay. But I just didn't care about the Dogs. The Dogs just don't give me anything. Connor and David Finlay just don't give me anything. And I just don't, I'm not feeling them. I don't. They got to do something else with them. I'm just not feeling them. But the Bang Bang Gang came out, and then Jay White reappeared. So the leader of the Bang Bang Gang is back, and he made it very clear to Dave that you screwed me up. You hurt me for more than a year. I get you back for it. You lose your chance to get the damn titles. Which he did. And you could see Christian not trusting Jay White, which he shouldn't, because if I'm right, you're going to see members of the Bang Bang Gang, Colton and Austin, are probably going to go after those titles if it's not going to be Robertson and Austin. I mean, Ace Austin and Robinson make a perfect. They seem to be good as a tag team. And then, of course, Colton and Austin are going to do something. So you're going to have someone going to do something. That's just me. Next match, which this one is a bit of a thing. You got a steel cage that's not a steel cage. What the fuck kind of cage was that? What the fuck? They decided to make a circle cage. No problem. There's no problem with that. But the cage was so big. I don't know who decided to do this. What did they call it? What did they call it? They called it the what was it called? I can't remember. Death door. The thing was so open, it didn't feel like a steel cage. I don't know about anybody else. I don't know what JD's going to think, Alex, Solid Monster, Jesse, Grim, or any of the other wrestling YouTubers you know. I do not know. But for me, a steel cage, unless it's a Hell in a Cell and it's enclosed completely, needs to at least be to a certain proximity. Here's the ring. Normally the cage is about here or here. You got this or this. It was like this. It was so big that it didn't feel like a cage. It didn't. It felt like an obstacle. And at one point you were seeing that Darby Allin climb the damn thing, left a backpack up there. Everyone had backpacks that was with the conglomeration. That was Kateska. That was worked also on Darby Allin. And we had, and I don't know if I got a shot of him, we got Leo Rush in the big bag that I believe it was Roderick Strom who was carrying it. And he was inside it. And he was able to get into the cage. You can bring anything you want into the cage. Once it's closed, you're on your own. Whatever's there, you can use. It's no hose barred, no DQ, no countouts, just whoever gets pinned or submitted. It was okay. But the cage was too damn big. It didn't feel like a cage. I don't know who came up with that idea. It seemed stupid to me personally because you needed something close, or at least close enough that you could have your wrestlers, and understand this, The cage was so far away from the ring. If they wanted to do a jump, they had to really jump really, really far to do it. And they could not do like a traditional steel cage jump off of it onto other wrestlers. You couldn't do that. You would have a huge gap. And look what happened with Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight jumped up onto that cage. He grabbed the bag that Darby Allin did. The bag exploded and he fell onto the tables that were already set up there. Hopefully he didn't get too badly hurt. It didn't feel right. Now I'm sure you're going to say, well, this is brand new. No one's ever done it before. There's a difference between doing something no one's ever done before and doing something no one's ever done before smartly. You need a cage. Yes, it could be circular. Something you don't normally see in a steel cage. Usually it's a square or a box. But you could have made it closer. That's my gripe. The cage was just so far away from the ring. People could not jump off of it. That's what the most exciting thing from crash mouth type of wrestling that they were doing. You couldn't jump off the cage onto people very easily or at all. In the end, what was this all about? This was about Mark Briscoe winning. If he wins, he gets the title shot. If he doesn't, it's over. And he did get the title shot. He did win. So now he said after it was over, this Wednesday, he wants his title shot. I don't know if that's going to be right. I don't know what that means. I'm worried that that's not going to be good. But we're going to find out. Next. The match that was a surprise. And, was it a surprise? The Owen Hart tournament. For the ladies. Mercedes Moné versus Maya World. Now, here's the thing. I've only seen Maya World wrestle a couple of times. She's not a bad wrestler. But in this situation, there was a situation. If anybody's ever heard of the classic Justin Timberlake and a little bit of Janet Jackson, you know what I'm talking about. You got a wardrobe malfunction. That's when it started. Wardrobe malfunctions really started when that situation happened and when the titties of the little lady with the star poked right through the nipple is when you know about wardrobe malfunctions when it talk about a Janet Jackson. And I'm not saying that we had Maya World showing nipple and titty, but Maya World's wardrobe just malfunctioned. Within, 10 minutes? Her top just broke. And you could see her bra. Her tits are going like this most of the time. And she couldn't do all the moves she wanted to do because, technically speaking, she couldn't really do everything because I think she was kind of nervous that, one, her top was just going to completely come apart. But then, if you didn't notice, as she was doing her moves, which not all of them were bad, she just seemed to go from great strength and it just started dropping a lot more than Mercedes. Mercedes is a small woman. She's skinny, she's small. Maya is a bit more of a solid woman, more thicker. And Maya at one point just didn't seem like she can do all the moves anymore, like she was getting tanked. Not either because she was getting tanked because she was just tired, or she was just scared about how much more of her clothes were going to rip off her body. So I don't know which one it is. But something was making the strength level go down, down, down. And it was up to Mercedes to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Now, was it a bad match? No, it actually was a good showing from Maya World. I'm not telling you that it was bad. It was okay. In the end, she did not win, and now we get a two-time. I see you. Two-time Owen Hart tournament champion. Did I like to see her win that? Yeah. But here's the thing. Having her come back and go through the tournament and win it was highly predictable. We all knew she was going to do it, but it was just very, very predictable. And I feel like it needed to be more than that. But this is just me. You guys tell me below. Did you feel it? Now, let's put this in perspective. By the time the last match came, it was hitting 12. I was tired. I am tired. I'm going to be tired when I have to go edit this video and put images in, whatever images I got. And I know everybody there was still excited, was still amped for most of it, but they were getting tired. It was near 1 o'clock in the morning when this ended. Don't they learn? But what did we get? The final match of the night, Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay. He is going to All In. I think that might be the title. And I think that is the best title. Will is going to All In. I think that might be the right title. Swerve and him just tore each other two new assholes. They were ripping each other apart. Just like with the steel cage match there was blood. Just like with Moxley there was blood. It was just blood all around. And there was a lot of blood. Let me give it to you like this. They bled buckets and buckets of blood. But was the match good? Now, here's where it's going to get hard. There's not a lot of people who like false finishes. And they did a tremendous amount of false finishes. That was the problem. It wasn't about the counters they were doing to each other, which they both did great amount of counters, which I was fine with. But it was the amount of false finishes that I believe brought the match down. And you're going to say, dude, that's AEW. They do that. Yes, they do. But there is a limit of how many false finishes you can do. Now, were the fans going for it? Yes. The ones that were there were loving it. But I'm sure there was going to be a lot of people who are not there that are not going to like it. And this is a major issue when it comes to AEW. They do way too many false finishes. And I even think that JD can't stand these amounts of false finishes. And he works for House of Glory. They do a lot of false finishes. But there's a limit of how much false finishes. You can have this much amount of false finishes. Or you can have this amount of false finishes, which was in the match. And we had that already across 4 matches by that time. A great amount of false finishes. And this was the most largest amount. Now, in this situation, it made sense for it to happen. But because of how many others that did not near as much, but did a lot, it hurt the match. I'm making it clear, it hurt it. But did I hate the match? No. I understood the story of this. These guys have known each other for more than a decade, or at least a decade. They've always been friends. Swerve sees him as a brother. But Swerve has always beat his ass in every match they've ever done. And now this will be the first time that he has a chance to do something in his home country, go to Wembley, and have his own World Cup. That is what Will made it very clear. It would be like if I was doing something like this, and I can go to the Super Bowl, and one of the stadiums to do a Super Bowl that I've always wanted that was not far from my house when I was growing up. To have my moment at a stadium, that would be my Super Bowl. And I understand what Will's doing. That was a lot of emotion, which I did like. And at the end, when it was all over, and Will did win, and he came up to Swerve, and we couldn't tell, I'm sure no one could actually understand exactly what was being said, but what you could hear is that he talked to him, like he showed him respect. I think he even showed him some love, and made it very clear this had to happen. This is my destiny, though. You're going to have your moment. I know you're going to have your moment. That's what I think he was saying to him, because I couldn't understand what he was saying. It was so loud. And I'm kind of glad it was, because I think that was supposed to be really private. And I wish they hadn't zoomed in with the camera. Because let's make it very clear. Wrestlers do have moments in these rings which they drop the personas and they talk to each other. They tell each other that they love them, they tell them that you're my friend, or they thank them. That's the way it really works. And when it's in this type of situation, when it's this main event, they will do this. And I truly believe that this is a moment I think they didn't need to have the camera right in Will's face as he's talking to Swerve. I think it wasn't necessary. Now, I'm sure there's not going to be a lot of people that's going to agree with me. They're going to say, this is perfect. We need to see this. Dude, if that was a moment, a legitimate moment, not a scripted moment, where the guard for both of them went down, and Will Ospreay is talking to his natural friend he's known for more than a decade to say something important to him, I think sometimes we shouldn't hear it, out of respect. But in the end, next to the Death Riders being there to encourage him, his wife was there, and it was a good moment. Now, he's going to Wembley. Now, here's the big question. How are they going to book going into Wembley for Will Ospreay? This isn't about if MJF is going to win or not. This is about what they're going to do about Will, because they got to book Will in a certain way before Wembley happens. They can't just leave him the way he is and just make him keep doing matches. It's got to be something more. So I don't know what it's going to be. But hopefully it's going to be good. And overall, was this a good pay-per-view? It was good. Was there too much bleeding? Yes. That was a major issue. We had about, 3 or 4 matches that had blood. And it made it feel useless. I'm sorry. The bleeding was horrid. Now, was it accidental bleeding, some of them? Yeah. Was it real bleeding to make them bleed? Yeah. And honestly, I wish it hadn't happened, because I wanted these matches to mean something. And they thought they had to put blood in it to make it mean something, which I don't think was wise. I don't. And for me, I could recommend people watching it, but to understand that if you're going to watch it, 1, if you don't like false finishes, you're going to have an issue. 2, if you don't like excessive amount of blood, you're not going to like it. Not because you're squeamish, but because they just use too much of it again. Just be mindful of it. And this is just me, and I hope you enjoy this Forbidden Door review. Please give me a comment below and a like or 2 if you can. Peace.